thinks he's a pro settling scores.
Trafficking, Vincent Sierra.
I can't keep doing your job for you.
Who is this?
You're too slow to make them pay. What they did to children, they're not doing anything about it.
He's taking out the traffickers that we couldn't.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2022 action thriller Memory, a film that is directed by Martin Campbell and it stars Liam Neeson, Guy Pearce, Monica Bellucci and Ray Stevenson. Now the film, to my knowledge, is a remake of a Belgian film called In the Memory of a Killer, I think that came out in the early noughties. And it focuses on Liam Neeson's character, Alex Lewis, who is an assassin, essentially, who is, on a personal level, suffering with memory loss. And he's clearly in the early stages of dementia, because he's got an older brother that he visits in a care facility who's clearly has got full dementia. So, we know that he's got memory problems, and it makes that very, very clear when watching the film. But he wants to kind of get out of the game, but he's drawn into one last job. It's always one last job, isn't it? Which involves killing a child, which he refuses to do. He pushes back against his employees, which kind of puts him in an all-out war with them. And Guy Pearce plays a committed police detective who is very devoted to trying to find out who is killing these children and things like that. And he's very heavily involved in the case, and it ends up with him and Liam Neeson kind of having an uneasy alliance, if you like. And Liam Neeson essentially decides to go and take out all those responsible for these crimes against the children. Right, what are my thoughts on Memory? Well, here we are again, guys. It feels like every couple of months there is a new Liam Neeson theatrical release of him kind of making the same film over and over again. Does this one stick out from the crowd? Unfortunately, no, not really. There are some interesting aspects of this film. Now, this whole idea of the memory thing, the fact that he's suffering with memory loss, they could have really, I think, done something far more with that in this film than they actually do. I just don't think they do anything interesting with it at all. And I really do think they could have done an awful lot more with it. It's just like a plot device or a plot point of him losing his memory and stuff like that. And Liam Neeson, I think, is very good in this film. There are a number of sequences in this film where he's called on to, really perform and really act. And while I don't think that Liam Neeson never doesn't commit to a role, every time I see him in any of these films, regardless of what quality you think they might be, he's always good in the films, Liam Neeson, regardless of, again, if you feel like he's kind of saying they're playing the same characters over and over again. There's nothing wrong with his performances, but I think it's a step up in this film because of this character trait that they give him. They just don't write anything interesting for the character, really, in regards to this dementia and stuff like that, which is a real shame. It just really boils down to this killer for hire who knows he's coming to the end of the road in regards to his physical and mental health. He knows he's not done a lot of good in the world, and he kind of wants to go out on a bit of a high sort of thing. And that's basically it. It's another, he's played like Honest Thief, for example, jumps to mind, but he's done other films as well where he's kind of been the bad guy, but he's got a villain with a heart, so to speak. And it's no different here, really. You never really get the impression that he's a cold-blooded killer, as much as they try and make out that he is as well. And similarly, the Guy Pearce character, this detective he plays, Vincent Sierra, I thought they could have done a lot more with his character. He seemed to be quite a complex and layered character at the beginning of the film. Morally, he's got a good moral compass and all this kind of stuff. And I just don't think they did anything particularly surprising or interesting with him. And I'm not convinced they didn't cast him in this film because he was in Memento, obviously another film where a character loses the memory. I don't know if the director thought, I'll put Guy Pearce in this film, people will get that. Which is a shame. I think him and Liam Neeson could have really been given a lot more to do here. And then that's nothing. I mean, they get mountains to do when you compare it to what they give Monica Bellucci and Ray Stevenson to do. I just don't understand why they were in the film, really. Pointless. They were given nothing interesting to do. And I barely recognise Ray Stevenson, actually, to be honest. He's much better than the role he gets in this film, as is Monica Bellucci. So it's kind of chocked full of uninteresting characters, this, and a plot that will be predictable to most, because it certainly was to me. But saying that, that's not to say I didn't enjoy watching it, because Martin Campbell, if that name sounds familiar, he's the guy directed Casino Royale. You know, he's a very, very competent director when it comes to action thrillers like this. And this is no different here. It looks slick. The action sequences are all competently done, and some of them are quite exciting to watch. The hand-to-hand stuff is done really, really well. So I don't have an issue at all with the production side of the film, or the performances for the most part. It's just the plot's a bit predictable, a bit thin, and it's full of characters that aren't interesting, and are giving almost nothing interesting to do. So this will really boil down to, I suppose, is if you're a fan of Liam Neeson, or if you're sick to death of seeing these Liam Neeson films being churned out now. This ain't really gonna, add anything new to to your thought patterns there. I actually thought it was reasonably watchable and fairly entertaining. I'm not sure why these keep getting released at the cinema. This would probably do much better on Amazon Prime or Netflix or something like that. Audience members would probably make it quite popular and probably watch it. These aren't traditionally now making much money in regards to at the cinemas, so it does baffle me a little bit why they keep getting released at the cinemas. But this isn't horrifically bad or anything like that. It's just a little bit predictable and a little bit dull in parts with uninteresting characters. So I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. It was close to getting a 7 out of 10, but just didn't cut the mustard as far as I was concerned. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope you found it useful. I'll be back with more content on the channel very, very soon.